Racecraft Rallycross Championship is in full swing for 2023 and Jacob Raffos is in his usual position by winning RX1 races again. Will tonight be any different? We're racing at a track that is always placed towards the start of seasons wherever it is in motorsport. It's round 3 for us here tonight, the Daytona Rallycross circuit, which has the second least dirt of any track on the calendar this season. It's still early days, but these are important days for anyone with aspirations of a championship later on this year. Welcome to the broadcast. My name's Ewan O'Leary, stepping in for Arjuna Kankipati on this occasion. Dane Baird's still alongside me. Very glad to have you here, Dane, for this very exciting form of motorsport that, quite frankly, I've not watched in a very long time. I'm very excited to watch again because it's been a great season so far.
It absolutely has, and this music is slapping at the minute. But yeah, we've got Daytona, which is of course a staple of any rallycross calendar. It's been on the iRX schedule since iRX launched all those years ago, which makes you sound old now. I'm not sure I like that. But yeah, it's a circuit that everybody knows in the rallycross world. Everybody is very used to it. So unlike some of the other circuits on our list, including Knock Hill a week ago, everybody is going to be very comfortable at the circuit, so it'll be interesting to see how that affects things tonight.
Yeah, it's maybe not quite as narrow as Knock Hill either, you'll be very glad to know, because that was quite ridiculous at times. There is the full calendar, by the way. We've got a few American rounds coming up at Atlanta and Iowa to end out the first half of this season. Then we're back into Europe again for another couple of rounds before the final 3 races. Now a new finale at Sonoma here. It was previously going to be round 2. It's now the final round of this championship in late April, but a very long time until we get to there. Let's have a look at Daytona itself. As you mentioned, it's one of those circuits that is everybody will know very, very well indeed. It was released on iRacing a long time ago, as you mentioned, with the Rallycross release that we had all those years ago, and it's a short one, to be honest. With the joker on the inside of turn 9, you can see there. Start just through into that chicane and that notorious jump, Dane, that is going to claim a few casualties today.
Yeah, it definitely will. It's very easy, very similar to what we saw earlier on at Phoenix. It's definitely easy to get that jump wrong. And if you do, there are walls waiting to collect you, and then you lie and wait for anyone coming up to the jump to collect them. Obviously, it's a big old jump. No one's seeing you on their way through there, and you have to full commit to the jump if you're going to get it right. Another thing is the start of the race. It narrows up a lot. You're going 3, sometimes 4 wide into there, and that joke is very tempting, but you can't take it on the first lap. We need the drivers to know this.
Yes, absolutely. Otherwise, things could get difficult post-race. This is how the points are set up, by the way. People currently competing for those qualifying points on the left-hand side, all the way aiming for those feature race points on the right-hand side. Over the last 3 weeks or so, it's been Dylan Baldwin at the first round at Phoenix, and then Istvan Tietz in the Knock Hill race 1 week ago, who have been taking those full 15 points for the feature race. And we'll have a look at those points as well in RX2 as we get our RX2 coverage underway here this evening. We've got a tie at the top. Sean Winkler and Ollie Honker 1 and 2. Winkler was 3rd in last season's RX2 point standings, looking to go a little bit better this time. And with Costa McKenna not here, returning to defend his RX2 title at least, Winkler has a good chance. It's got all the signs, though, of a championship that's only 2 rounds old, really. It's very, very close. Hard to read too much into this, really.
Yeah, but it actually was really close, like we're seeing now, for the majority of the season last time out. It's because of the way that the point system works, as we saw earlier. You can score points from a lot of different places, so there's always, even like within the event, places to catch up to your opponents as well. So even if you have like a back and forth round between drivers, they may end up on very, very similar points coming out of it as well. And it's a great part of the series is that we never really know who's coming out on top until the very end. Also note on Winkler, he's had a very consistent start to the season as well. 2 feature podiums for him, starting very strong here in 2023.
Certainly is. There's your race analysis here this evening for the RX2s. 5-lap heats, the last chance qualifiers coming up as well, and then a 10-lap feature to round it off at the end. 8x is the incident limit for these guys. It, I believe, still is reduced for the open set of guys in RX1. That's coming up in just under an hour's time here on Racecraft TV. Very much hope that you'll stay with us here this evening for a very exciting night of racing. 2 sections of dirt, as I mentioned earlier on, but it's not very much of the circuit. It doesn't go through much of the circuit. Less than a third of this track is out on the dirt, more than 2/3 on the tarmac. And one of the shortish ones comes right in the middle, really, in terms of track length, this one at Daytona. But as we've said time and again, it's one of those circuits that everybody will know here going into this one. We're not far away from the end of qualifying now. We'll be into the first of the heats soon. And then the racing will really get underway. That's where things are going to get interesting, as they always do. And as you mentioned, that chicane through turn 1 and 2. And then the jump is going to be, well, a high-pressure situation, because only 2 are going through from each heat today, which is, well, doesn't leave a lot of room for error. As we, look at the grid here. Ollie Honker's going to be on the front with Esteban Tits. Then it's going to be Tom Grady, Greg Johnson, Hex Sierra and Sean Winkler on the top 6. That's quite a high-class first heat here, Dane.
Yeah, it certainly is. And here's the couple of drivers nearer towards the back. Zach Mitchell, Scott Kerr, Hex Valentine and Kenny Hoffman. It's an interesting grid here. You got 2x3 by 2x3. Sorry, no, that's what I was saying. It's a staggered grid, but it's not in the usual sense, 2x3 by 2x3. It's 3x3 by 2x3, and the 3s are all staggered off to the left of each other. As you can see, it's a really weird starting grid, and they all funnel in towards the first corner, which is also the last one.
So we can get a bit more of a handle on the race than we can of the starting grid, because it's a mess, as you can see. 3 wide at the start there, and we're underway for the first heat of the day. Ollie Honker down the inside in the Subaru. Looks like he's going to take this one, maybe, but not quite. He's going to get just shoveled out in the middle, really, in the Volkswagen there, jumping back to 4th place as they filter through 1 and 2 for the first time over the Turtles and over the jump for the first time as well. It's a relatively clean start, although as I say that, they go over the jump and chaos ensues a little bit. Both Ollie Honker and Esteban Tits not making use of their front row start. They're already out the top 2.
Well, you've made your first mistake as a Rallycross commentator. It's never been a clean start until we've got to the end of the race. There's a little bit of contact made through in towards the hairpin as well. Very often happens, especially when the field is tightened up. But Winkler, once again, inside those transfer positions, just behind Grady, who's starting to extend a bit of a lead now. Drivers can now take to the Joker lap. It's just that nobody has chosen to take to the Joker lap.
No, not on this occasion, but that will become a key element of this one. Sean Winkler under a lot of pressure here, as there's all going on in the background. I think that was Johnson maybe with a couple of problems in that one, not sure, but it was over the jump again for him. Ollie Honker really applying that pressure to Sean Winkler, and Esteban Tits gets into the back of him, still side by side, this for 2nd place, and maybe maybe Winkler will decide to go for the Joker lap on this occasion at the end of lap 2. No, it's going to be Esteban Tits, and now the strategy games begin.
Yeah, and this is definitely going to cause Winkler to head down next time by, you have to imagine, because you do not want to be following someone around this circuit. You need to be able to see what's going on in front of you, especially through this dirt section. If you can't see where you're going to get your line slightly wrong, and slightly wrong can mean very wrong in a number of cases at this circuit. So you don't want to be following people. You want to get out into some clear air, and I feel like Winkler might be forced to take to the Joker this time by his Honker trying to go up the inside, but not quite making it work this time.
Sorry for that reaction there, but that was pure gymnastics in the background. Anyway, we'll see the Joker, just as you called it, Dane. Sean Winkler right into the Joker. Looks like Tom Grady is just about going to hold on to the lead and keep that clean air. Tits has actually gained, I would say, in terms of time. He's a bit closer to 2nd than he was before those 2 Jokers were taken, but he wasn't able to make the overtake. Winkler gets things wrong over the jump. Tits looks to the outside. It will turn to the inside. He's going to use this grass on the inside just for a little bit of traction. Down towards the hairpin they go on the penultimate lap. He's not able to do it here. It's going to have to be last lap stuff, possibly, as Winkler goes wide. Pressure going to be on here as they fight for the final transfer spot here in Heat 1.
Honker's going to take to the Joker now and could well get ahead of both of them as well. You'll see him go off to the right-hand side. These 2 have lost time on this lap, there's no doubt about it. The 74 will come out in front, but will he stay in front as the other drivers make their way faster? Around the outside goes Winkler. Beautiful move to keep hold of that 2nd transfer spot there. Absolutely brilliant stuff.
And Ollie Honker has just halted the progress of those behind as well, in the form of Istvan Titz in the Beetle, and also Greg Johnson as well in the background. All four of them make their way to the hairpin all at once. There's going to be dives and there's going to be action through here, but it doesn't look like there is going to be any change. It does look like it's going to be Tom Grady who's going to leave it right till the very last moment here to take his Joker lap, and why not as well? He's going to take Heat 1 here. He'll be transferring into the final, and there it is. Sean Winkler will be joining him in that feature race later on. Ollie Honker, Istvan Titz, Greg Johnson just miss out in the end. That was a very good heat there in terms of action, but in the end only two can make it, and some big names missed out there.
Yeah, and one thing that is definitely important to note is the way that the Joker works at a lot of circuits. When it comes on to the finish line, you don't want to be taking that on the last lap because you slow your advantage down. You get zero advantage taking the Joker lap on the exit of that. You want to take it on the last lap if it's possible. If it's beneficial to you to stay out on the circuit, you definitely want to be doing that because you're losing time on the exit and through turns 1 and 2. So if you can avoid going through turns 1 and 2 after the Joker by taking it on the last lap, you definitely want to be.
Let's have a look at the grid for Heat 2. Trevor Teal going to be on the front with Kane Lasky. Then it's going to be Paul Mikolajic in the next place ahead of Andrew Howell. Then Cody Winicki and also Ross Kaiser in that 6th place. Matthew Morris, Eric Dubois, Ovind Anderson and Jordan Brockle to make up the 10 drivers for Heat 2. It's fast-paced, it's rallycross, and we're ready to go racing for another 5-lap heat once again. Trevor Teal on the very, very inside line going towards the first hairpin, but that didn't prove to be the place to be in the first heat. How's it going to be in the second? There's already contact in the background, and there's more in the foreground as well. A big smash with one of the Fiestas in the midfield. That's certainly taken out a few drivers. The top 4 at least have been able to get away without contact, but it was a bit of a mess behind.
Yeah, it looked like the driver that was in the middle there, just in the 53 numbered machine, but is actually, I think, in the 24, just to confuse us a little bit. Whoever has 29, sorry, Lasky, change your bait. I cannot understand your number. It's making me confused. But the driver's making their way through fairly single file, which is common here at Daytona. That first sector really decides to whittle things out. You're not going side by side through there and making it out alive. Anybody through the Joker on the first lap, we've got a couple going through already, Pickle Teal and Lasky as well. So they're the top 2, they're going to escape off into the distance. This makes things interesting because now the lead of the race is settled by Delta. Howell on 3rd place, trying to chase that.
Absolutely, and you're absolutely right as well about Lasky's paint there. That's not helpful, but he is in the 29 despite what his numbers on the actual car itself says. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that over the course of the race. It is very much going to be a race of deltas though. The top 2 taking their Jokers on the first lap. Now are 3rd and 4th going to replicate that on this one, or will they keep this interesting right towards the very end? Are they going to keep us guessing right towards the very end? Well, Lasky's going down the inside of Trevor Teal here, not able to do it into the hairpin. They'll go over the finish line, but they've still got a few laps remaining, 3 laps remaining in this second heat of the day for the RX2s. There you can see the jump in the background. The 666 of Andrew Howell is chasing them down and trying to get that final transfer spot. It's going to be a race of strategy really between these top 2, and then Howell and of course Morris as well actually, who's in the free there. That's Matthew Morris in the free, who'll be right up there. And yeah, there they are going side by side. That's not going to help them at all in their chase to get to the top 2.
Yeah, they are already a bit too far back now to get up into the top 2, I believe. The Delta at Daytona, obviously, it's quite a shortcut, so it's not a massive amount of time that you gain. I believe it's just under 2 seconds, but although I may be wrong. So if you do know the Delta in chat, then let me know. It's been a while since I've driven here at Daytona. Obviously, nothing much has changed in the last couple of years on Rallycross side of iRacing. Loads of updates everywhere else, but the Rallycross side seems to be neglected ever so slightly. A couple new circuits, but the cars still exactly the same as they were a couple of years ago, which means that it's very similar every time that we come here to Daytona. The drivers all know exactly what to expect. And Teal starting to build a bit of a gap up at the front as well. That 72 car looking very good indeed in the hands of Pickle Teal.
Certainly is. And on to the final lap now. It should be a... yeah, it is the final lap. There we are. It should be a nice win here for Trevor Till. We'll wait and see, of course. Lasky giving chase. Andrew Morris has actually taken his joker already and is not really any closer to the top two. So the two transfer spots have been sorted pretty much since the end of lap 1 here. They both took the joker at the earliest opportunity, and it turned out to be the right call. Of course, we never know that until the end, and it was a bit of a gamble maybe at the time. It could be seen as a gamble, but it's turned out to be the right one. Trevor Till through the final hairpin. He'll come under a little bit of pressure from Lasky there in the 29, but won't be overtaken. Andrew Howe will get up to third, but it's inconsequential. He won't be getting a transfer spot into the feature. They'll have to go through the last chance qualifiers coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, it was a pretty dominant performance there by Trevor. I'm disappointed having seen his face cam now that we haven't had the return of the pickle. I'm still waiting for that, and I will still mention it every single week until we get it, because it is pure content. But top two drivers from pretty much start to finish qualified first and second, finished the race first and second as well. They will make their way first and second, at least row 1 and row 2 on the feature grid. Straight through they go.
They certainly will, and it was a bit of a messy race for those behind. Heat 3 grid coming up then. It's Tyler Schell who is going to be on the front there with Evan McFarlane, Don Crew third, and Trevor Royer, Rene Weniger. Then it is James Burke in the 6th position in another one of the Fiestas, Will Ovenden, and then Vince Pichel and Robbie Kirtley in the final spot here for Heat 3. So the final of the RX2 heats coming up. Another 2 transfer spots to the feature race coming up, ready to be sorted over the next 5 laps. The revs will rise as the lights come on. You can see the front end's lifting up, and we'll head down towards that hairpin that has seen so much action so far today. We're underway again in Heat 3. Oh. There's already bumping on the front row with everybody, and they just about hold it together, at least for now. A little bit sideways between a couple of them, and even more so, one of the Fiestas looks like it has gone through on the inside line and taken it, but it's a bit of a mess behind again. There's all the chaos. Deary me, that's not the way to take that jump at all. They've broken out of the circuit. Goodness me, not sure who that is, but somebody has, they found themselves off the circuit. It's Evan McFarlane who's off now in the Subaru. Is he going to get him a map? Get him back on the circuit somehow. I'm not sure where he is now, but real shame for him. He'll be using the last chance qualifiers for sure.
Well, from the third row of the grid, we've got a special guest on the track tonight, and currently finding himself in a transfer spot as well. Part of the Racecraft Academy, number 82 machine of Vince Pichel, who you may know if you're any up to date on your UFC. So you've got UFC fighter. I definitely would not want to punt this guy off the circuit. So I think, other than definitely needs to be careful. You don't want to get too close. Definitely don't want to be messing up your braking point into turn 9 when you've got Pichel in front of you, because of all the people in this area, that's one person you did not want to get on the wrong side of.
Imagine doing an LEN event with that man. You wouldn't go near it. I'd be scared stiff. You wouldn't go near him. Dear me. That'd be a scary thought. He is in a transfer spot right now, though, and you can see big pressure being applied by the 5 of Ovenden right now, and we're on board with Don Crew, who's in VR, as you can see in the bottom right hand side even of your screen right now. They'll throw it over the jump and into 4 and 5, and Crew himself is actually going to get closed in on a little bit by the 77. You can just see in the background, there goes Ovenden, and straight into the side of Pichel. Don Crew has broken the golden rule, and he has, angered the USV fighter, I'm afraid. Pichel off the road, still very much in the race, but that was a heavy whack there.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with Daytona, is that if you get knocked into that part of the circuit, you can just keep going for literally miles and miles and miles. The 77 of Wegner now down into the Joker lane, where it's going to come out ahead of Kirtley. Kirtley nowhere to be seen. I hear contact, I don't see contact. It's always a worrying thing when you can see no contact, but you hear contact. Something's going on.
Yeah, something going wrong for somebody. Is that someone in the middle of the circuit there, or did I just miss-see that? Not entirely sure. But I think someone's lost here. Yeah, there is someone lost. At the jump there, it's James Burke, who also needs a map, by the looks of things.
You need a lot of maps.
Yeah, we're going to need to start handing them out on the way in to these events. It does look like it's been a very good and controlled race so far from Tyler Schell, who's currently leading in the 85. He's had a good time of things so far. Hasn't taken his joker yet, and he is still leading, so fair enough to him. He should be going on to the front row for the feature race coming up in a few moments' time. The Fiesta showing itself to be not the most popular, as we've spoken about before, but still pretty good. And Schell has put it to good use here. He'll be going through with a transfer spot. Not sure about Ovenden in the 5 just for second place because he's got Robbie Kirtley behind. There goes Schell. It looks like Ovenden is going to take second place, and Kirtley's also going to have to go through the last chance qualifiers coming up there very soon. So Schell and Ovenden make their way through Heat 2, just about. Heat 3, sorry. Just about. That was closer than I was expecting.
Bit wide out the final corner, I think, and we've got coming across the line there, the Subaru making their way across the line there. It was a very close finish for our second place, actually, just a little bit wide, and then, yeah, well, just the Fiesta up the inside, not where you'd expect them to be, but yeah, nice close finish. We always love that.
Yeah, I saw Kirtley miles behind. I thought he's never getting there, and he nearly did, so fair play to him. But Will Ovenden gets through. So does Tyler Schell. Oh, well, the results have just changed there. I'm not sure whether that's meant to be happening or not.
Penalty, perhaps?
Well, yeah, maybe. Now 18 seconds off the leader as opposed to 8. Maybe a 10-second penalty applied to Ovenden there. And maybe Robbie Kirtley has got after all.
Jump start or a slowdown not served potentially, or maybe the incident limit. A couple of things it could be, really.
Yeah, I've got no idea, unfortunately. But yeah, there we go. Last chance qualifiers coming up then. Ollie Honker just missed out. So did Rani Raniger there. And we're going to see him very soon. Matthew Morris is up there on the first 3 positions as well. We spent a lot of time figuring that out, so we're going to go straight into it. Oh dear. Oh, 3 jump starts at least there. That's going to be a mess to sort out. But we're underway for the first of the last chance qualifiers. And Ollie Honker has taken ownership of the first turn by the looks of things, and will lead them over the jump for the first time. 11 cars in this last chance qualifier, the most populated race we've had so far. Honker makes contact with one of the Fiestas by the looks of it. Oh, it's even more of a mess into 4 as well, 4 and 5. Deary me, we've got so many cars around.
What is going on?
That rejoin was terrible as well, but this is chaos.
That was a rejoin and a half. I think it is definitely fair to say that was not what we like to see. But Honker, the top 4 drivers, really getting away with things absolutely free. And now they have a little battle between themselves, because unless some more drama happens, we should just be seeing a couple of drivers make their way through, and there'll probably be a couple of drivers on the screen, because look at the gap between second and third place. Roy and Mikolajczyk having a bit of a battle between themselves, but Honker and McFarlane, they are out into the distance. So as long as we don't see McFarlane going over the wall, as we saw in the heat race, should be fine. Roy dropping back. Oh, there's been another incident into the hairpin, hasn't there?
Don Crew's off as well. Don Crew. Yeah, there he is.
It's not good.
And one of the... Oh, well, a bit slow here from McFarlane, is this? It is.
Slow down?
What's he doing here? See, he must be serving a slowdown here. He was very wide in the final hairpin there, and he must be serving a slowdown, because Paul Mikolajczyk is right back in this, and he's still going wide. I think Evan McFarlane is still struggling to clear this slowdown, and still he's not managed it. Mikolajczyk has just got a free pass there to second place.
Yeah, there is definitely room for slowdowns right through this part of the course. If you get a little bit too far up and over those curbs here and here and here, any of those, you get trouble in the form of some orange text flashing in the middle of your screen. That is the death to your race, which is the slowdown in Rallycross. So for these the last chance qualifiers as well, because we have a 12-car grid, we've already seen 6 cars go through. We get 2 last chance qualifiers with 3 drivers going through this time. Yeah, so a little bit of time for McFarlane still to try not to make that error again. Only has 2 laps to try and save that 3rd position, and nobody from the top 3 taking their jokers either.
Lord.
Oh, you hear that again? Yeah, again. I heard it too. You hear that little crash sound in the background. Something.
It wasn't small. It wasn't a small sound.
Turn the volume up.
Yeah, goodness. That's quite a smash. I think Morris may have been involved. It was kind of in that region, and we might get a look here. Valentine is one of them involved, possibly. Clips the turtle. Oh, and it's a big hit as well. Not a wall that they're expecting you to hit, quite clearly, because there's no tyres there.
It's kind of on a straight, isn't it?
Yeah, big hit on the wall. I mean, it does show that they do use the turtles, but they don't, they don't have no effect on these cars. They can take them, but there is still an effect to it.
Yeah, that there definitely is, and unfortunately for a couple of drivers, that effect means into the wall you must go, E-I-E-I-E-I-O. And what are we looking at here as we see the driver, there was Mikolajczyk, was that a lapped car that they passed there? It was a bit confusing.
McFarlane took the Joker and then slowed down dramatically again. So Ollie Honka's going to win this one. He'll be through as a result of the last chance qualifiers. Mikolajczyk's going to go through as well. McFarlane should be all right as well, as long as he served this slowdown. I think he has, but that was very bizarre.
I don't know if it was a slowdown. I think he just spun over the jump. That was a weird one.
It was a weird one, and it was over the jump, so maybe there is a reason in that. But he's through anyway. 3 go through, as you mentioned, from the last chance qualifiers, because we do have a 12-car grid. It's going to be Ollie Honka, Paul Mikolajczyk, and Greg Johnson, who makes it through. So clearly not Evan McFarlane. Maybe he didn't serve that slowdown penalty in time, because Greg Johnson was third in that order. Unless we were shown wrong, but I'm going to presume we weren't, and that is the case. Andrew Howell's going to be on the front with Tits and Vince Pichel in this second last chance qualifier. Then it's going to be Odvind Anderson, then Kenny Hoffman. Will Ovenden is going to be in 6th after that slowdown penalty. Well, we don't know what it was. We think it was to drop him to 6th in the last chance qualifiers. Then it's going to be Cody Winecki, Hector Sierra, James Burke, Eric Dubois, Scott Kerr and Jordan Brockle to round out your 12 for last chance qualifier 2. Very competitive few heats in this one, and Evan McFarlane missing out, unfortunately, in the first of them.
Well, you've got Vince Pichel, who is in the Racecraft Academy, has learned one thing from the Pro IRX drivers. We have got a flip. We have got a flip counter. Argino Kankipani, I'm calling you out directly for not being here right now, because this was your request.
No, another one. Hoffman. It's Hoffman who's gone early and now gone late on the actual start. I don't think Vince Pichel took the start either. Did he ever grid up? I can't see him out there, I don't think. As Esteban Tits takes the hairpin first and will take the Beetle through first. Oh, big smash for third. Goodness me.
2, 3,
get your flip counter out for that, because that was quite a few. And there's some wrecked rallycross cars out there now. That was a huge smash for third place. It's left us with 4. And they're still crashing behind.
Ryan Bauer, that flip counter needs to go to 5 when you have a minute, but I feel like that's going to be a minute because we've got still plenty going on here. Oh, the leader into the wall. What's going on? What is going on?
First 2, Esteban Tits and Andrew Howell both go through, but one of them's still going to be able to keep a transfer spot on. They know they won't. Hoffman's through, but what's going to be done about his jump start earlier on? I've got no idea. This race is absolutely bonkers. The most bonkers we've seen all day. This is what happened to the leaders. Esteban Tits was leading fine. He was going to go through as a last chance qualifier. It would have been all good. And he just, he clips the wall.
What happened to Howell? Because Howell didn't clip the wall. Howell just joined the wall. What is that?
Well, let's see.
I don't think he hit the wall. I didn't see him hit the wall. Maybe my screen was just a bit buggy there for a second.
Did he follow him?
He did hit the wall. What is going on? The top 2 both make the same error.
Wow. I have never seen that. Never mind just in Rallycross, but ever. 2 people have just followed each other into the wall. That was really bizarre. But anyway, James Burke's leading this one, by the way, with Hector Sierra behind. Vince Pichel's third. Andrew Howell and Esteban Tits are 4th and 6th. Sierra going wild over the jump. And he'll go wild with the turtles as well, using the grass to his advantage, but just gets out of shape. He won't quite get first, but does it matter for these 2? They can barely see the spot that's going to deny them a transfer spot here. Andrew Howell is chasing down UFC fighter Vince Pichel right now, and it could be a good fight for the final spot.
Did Pichel start from the pits?
Possibly.
I did not. It started from the pit lane, confirmed from production. Started from the pit lane. Third in a transfer spot. Is it some kind of psychic powers going on, or what? Because that was an absolutely chaotic start. Starting third would have been the end of the race. Starts in the pit lane, drives by everybody. So that's some stroke of luck from the 82 driver there. Just have to hold on to this for a couple more laps. But what a strange opening few laps with this LCQ. Like, that is just strange.
What a strange race overall, really. This is just absolutely mad. James Burke looks like he'll be fine. So does Hector Sierra, as long as he doesn't lose too much more time, because Vince Pichel's not too far away from him. But they should be taking their jokers on the last lap here. But let's wait and see. And Andrew Howell and Istvan Tits look like they're going to be out of this. Howell was fourth in the points last year, by the way, or in the last championship. Came fourth in points. It's kind of a surprise to see him not making it through the heats. Would be an even bigger surprise to see him not in the feature. And Istvan Tits won 1 week ago. It's a big shock to the system for him. He looks like he's going to be going home as well, because Vince Pichel is still in third place. Howell's even coming under pressure from Winecki right now for fourth as they slide their way through the hairpin. It's going to be James Burke getting the first of the LCQ transfer spots here. He breaks very early for the joker lap, but that's fine. Hector Sierra will be second. He'll be transferring as well. He breaks a bit later. And it's going to be Vince Pichel who makes it to the feature, and fair play to him as well.
Literally from the pit lane, that is absolutely incredible. Has a bit of damage to the front of that car as well, so I don't think got through the first lap madness too cleanly, but makes it through provisionally. I mean, the results have been jumping around all day, so I'm going to say provisionally until everybody's crossed the line, but from literally nowhere. That is absolutely insanity that the Pichel's managed to get through there. Obviously, the Racecraft Academy doing something right. Taking it a little bit too far, though. I know that the pro rallycross drivers, they have got a little game that they like to play with each other, where who can grid up the latest for the start of the race. And I think he took it a little bit too far there. A little bit still to learn.
Quite possibly. James Burke, Hector Sierra and Vince Pichel all make their way through, though. Yeah, wow, what a surprise. 12 of them have been set then for the feature. 10 laps coming up to decide the RX2 winners in a few moments' time. I'll have a short warm-up before then. Yeah, what a crazy number of heats, and particularly that last LCQ was completely crazy in that one there. And so, yeah, we'll have a couple of minutes before we get to the feature, but just quite bizarre there in that final race. I mean, I haven't watched that much Rallycross, Dane. You've watched more than me, but I mean, have you even seen anything?
No, I definitely haven't. It was absolutely nuts, to be honest with you. The start of that race, where I've never seen both drivers just drive straight into the wall. It was so bizarre. And then obviously you've got the chaos in the back. We see that fairly frequently, I want to say, in Rallycross. It's not what I like to say, but it's kind of true, so you have to tell the truth every now and then. But yeah, Daytona start just does tend to do that. You've got a hairpin where you can run 3 wide if you want to, and that funnels into a part of the circuit where you can try and run 2 wide. 3 wide is just the death wish, honestly. So it is a start area similar to Sonoma, very different reasons that just inspires chaos, and that is what we got.
We certainly did. And what about this feature as well now? What are we going to 10 laps? Because it's hard to learn a lot when there's so much unpredictability in those first 5 races that we've just seen. That was double the time, but is there anything that we can learn? Is there anything that you can predict? So far, it has been completely wild, not only today, but previous weeks as well.
Yeah, I mean, probably the only thing that we can learn is what we've probably already learned from last round and the round before that, is that it really does not matter how quick you are. If you can keep your nose clean, you've got a good shot at like a top 5 finish in this next race that we've got coming up. But obviously doing well in your heat races is the first key, and the drivers on screen now did exactly that. First, second and third, winning their heat, fourth, fifth and sixth, finishing second, making their way straight into the feature and getting themselves a nice little qualifying spot as well.
Yeah, Ollie Honker won his last chance qualifier and will be alongside James Burke. You can see them on the third row. Then fourth row were second in the LCQ's, fifth row third in theirs. So that's how they're ordered here. Coming out of pit lane, effectively at Daytona. It's going to be Trevor Teal through the middle in towards the first hairpin. What on earth's going to happen over the next 10 laps here? We've seen craziness at Daytona so far. What's going to be coming up here for the feature? It's the RX2 feature at Daytona. And it's a good start for Trevor Teal, straight through the middle. He'll take the initiative as well. He'll dive deep into the first turn and not quite hang on to the lead. It's going to be side by side through 2 and 3 with Tom Grady. There's a slide for one of the Fiestas that will fall away. Grady follows the leader of Trevor Teal through, takes a bit of a unstrained line through 4 and 5 and will drop back a little bit as a result. So Trevor Teal has just a few car lengths on the rest.
He does indeed. Grady settling nicely into that P2 position as well. It's a little bit of contention for that spot with the car whose number remains undecided. And then we've got a bit of side-by-side further back as well to decide, I believe, 6th position there. Pichel, whoa! Big wreck. Another couple of flips to the flip counter, please, Ryan Bauer. But a couple of flips there, a couple of cars off into the distance. That was chaotic again. Just before they reached the end of lap number 1. Our top 4 drivers, however, Teal, Grady, Winkler and Alaski, making it nice and clean through that first lap, and hopefully we can get some good fights going on.
Yeah, that was a huge smash, and we got flip count at 7 now. That was a huge smash coming towards the end of the first lap there. We certainly saw Ollie Honker involved, Greg Johnson, Vince Pichel, I think we're all involved in that, or maybe James Burke as well. But they're all going to be out of it now. Let's get a replay of it. Looking at Honker here, he's got Pichel down his inside. There's contact, you don't know, argue with him. But Honker he did get through. Pichel gets into the back of him. The 2 of them crash and everybody piles in behind.
So it was 1 roll and 2 rolls, so 2 flips in total. Just about getting back onto the wheels. Landed on the wheels though, and Rallycross cars, we don't have a pit lane, right? Absolutely no pit lane. There's no way of getting into the pit lane at Daytona. So they just carry on, and that is one of the beauties of Rallycross racing, is that you don't really tow back to the pits and get a repair. The races are so short, you probably wait the entire length of the race for a tow anyway, but you keep going and you get yourself to the end of the race with a damaged car. And it's something that you rarely see in other forms of motorsport on iRacing, is people just carrying on with damaged cars. But we see that in Rallycross all the time, and I quite like it. It adds some character to the cars. You'll often see the leaders finishing the race with a bit of damage where they've driven into the wall or something crazy like we saw in the last race.
Yeah, I do quite like that aspect of it as well. I'm pretty sure, by the way, that I saw somebody on their front 2 wheels only in the background of one of our shots earlier on. It's one of the Subarus by the looks of it, but I couldn't tell you which one. But it was a wild shot in the background of the shots of the leader, Trevor Teal. It doesn't look like Dylan Baldwin's obviously going to be taking a 2nd win of the season. He's not here. Esteban Titz obviously didn't make it to the feature at all, so we are going to get a new here today. But who is it going to be? Well, Sean Winkler would like it to be him, and then he could really take control of the championship with Honker further behind. We might well see Winkler with his own championship lead this time rather than having to share it. But you can just get a grip now as to just how short these races are. This would be the final lap in the heats and the last chance qualifiers. We're going for another 5 laps here in the feature as Kane Lasky tries to chase down Trevor Teal here for the win. This is going to be the fight for the win, because I do think Winkler is maybe slightly far back, although, well, he's not out of it yet.
Well, Winkler hasn't taken to the Joker. That's something
exactly.
that he's got up his sleeve. So he needs a little bit more time, I reckon, to catch up to the 2 in front, but has a couple laps to do exactly that, and then can take to the Joker and gain, like I said, just under 2 seconds, I believe the Joker Delta is. So we'll still wait as we see Sean Winkler there. I tell you what, has had a very consistent season. Finished the first race 3rd, second one and 2nd, so it makes sense that he gets a win today and just continues that streak of getting quicker and quicker and improving those results 1 race at a time. Will that be the case? We were about a couple laps away from finding out.
The only problem is, once he's got to first, he can't actually get any better than that. I don't know. And then he can go last in RX1.
I expect nothing better.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see for him, but he does need to put a bit of work in even to get the race win here. Lasky looks most likely really on the inside line there. Trevor Teal, so calm, so composed at the front of this race right now in the 72, looking very, very good. The Beetle in the background has been able to make a few inroads, but there you can see him. Not a panicked look on the face, just Nice, calm, composed, and Trevor Teal leads them around. Lasky will be in the mirrors now, and he's still got 3 laps to maybe do something here. But for the moment, Teal has control. It's getting closer though. This will be a battle for the win now.
Well, you say that. If they start fighting each other, who does that allow to close up to them? It's Winkler, who has just taken to the Joker lap as well. And as you can see, is still a little bit too far back, but will be willing these two on to make a battle of it. Very close into the hairpin. Is Lasky trying to get up the inside of this right-hander as well. It's a good way to be forced onto the wall on the inside, as we saw Honker and Hal doing in that first race. The last chance qualifier earlier on. But a little bit deep into the final corner, and that's going to allow Lasky through and up into the lead of the race. So Teal, once again, not finding that braking spot into turn 9.
Yeah, 2 laps in a row now, and Teal has and he's lost it out through the jump as well, although that is to be taking for the last couple of laps. Using the grass once again, Lasky with control of the feature now. Just over a lap to go here at Daytona. They'll make a brief appearance onto the oval and back onto the road course once again. Trevor Teal losing time. Kane Lasky just has not slowed down in this feature. He's just got quicker and quicker. Now he's got the lead. The Beetle only has 1 lap to hold on to it.
Let's see how he does, as Winkler remains in that 3rd position further back, isn't really catching up too much. So it is just these drivers. You can see Bonnie the Flagman standing in a very confusing position, of course, standing at the start line. So if you're a new member to iRX and you see the Flagman, you think, oh, finish the race. You haven't finished the race, don't worry. You're not going crazy. But very dominant performance by this number 29. It just kind of irritates me that I don't know if it's 29 or 53, and I still don't know to this day. And I have brought this up in the Discord as well.
No, I can't quite figure it out either, really. I'm going to go with neither. But anyway, Kane Lasky out of the final turn to take the feature win here in RX2. His first win of the season. And there's all sorts going on here. This is that Tyler Shell on the background of Tom Grady? It was. That was for 4th place. Shell couldn't quite get through. That was pure rallycross. That was contact. And there's even more going on here. Pichel fighting with Hector Sierra. There's the wall. But with only 1 Joker lap remaining, surely there's only going to be 1 winner here. Even though Pichel has gained a bit of time there. Sierra should be down the Joker and should be into 10th place here with this one. Is he going to quite make it? Yes, he will. Into 10th place for Hector Sierra in the 23. He will be finishing ahead of Vince Pichel, as we are about to see. That's your feature race in the RX2 Championship. A very entertaining round once again. Won by Kane Lasky ahead of Trevor Teal. Sean Winkler might well have the championship lead after all of that, finishing 3rd. Tom Grady just held off Tyler Shell to the line there with Robbie Kirtley in 6th. Ahead of Paul Mikulášek, Ollie Honker, James Burke and Vince Pichel, your top 10. We did still also get Hector Sierra on the lead lap. I think he got a slowdown on that, or a penalty at least, over the line there. He finishes 11th, despite finishing the line in 10th. Greg Johnson finishes down in 12th. So that's your RX2. Very entertaining indeed. RX1 coming up very soon, but let's have a quick chat to those drivers in RX2. First of all, those that did well, starting off with logically, well, it would be logical to do Kane Lasky first, wouldn't it? But he's not joined us yet, so we'll go for 2nd place man, Trevor Teal. Trevor, welcome to the booth. Good to have you here. 2nd place. Kane just got you at the end there. Do you feel that there just wasn't much more you could have done there to hold him back?
I mean, I just need to limit the mistakes next time. I kind of had a Chase Sexton Supercross moment, out in the lead, and just too many mistakes. But honestly, it feels really good just to finish the race and be in the top 5. I haven't been in the interview room for a season and a half. So what's up, guys?
It's good to have you here. It's good to have you here. And as I was about to say, 2nd place, still a very good result. And I've got to say as well, you've got plenty of fans in the YouTube chat too, cheering you on. I'm sure they're delighted with 2nd place. For you. So congratulations. Well done on making it back here as well. And thanks very much for joining us, Trevor. But we'll let you go and enjoy 2nd place. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Yeah, real quick, I just want to say a big thank you to Nitro Circus, Next Level Racing, And one person that doesn't get any credit or near enough is ZK Designs. He makes our cars look so sick. And thank you guys to the broadcast booth, Racecraft TV. You guys rock. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Trevor Till, second place here today at Daytona in RX2. And Sean Winkler also joining us from third place here today. Tied in first in the championship coming up into today, Sean. And a third place finish is not bad for you at all. How did you find your feature race and your evening?
Wow, I found it a little better than I had predicted. I was really struggling in practice here, but I just knew that if I could keep it fast and steady, I can do as good as I can. So we just kind of ran our race and hit our marks, and we got lucky this time, and here we are.
And what about the next couple of rounds? I think you'll be leading the championship by now, although it's hard to tell sometimes. How are you feeling about those next couple of rounds?
Well, that's a bold and ambitious prediction. I appreciate it, but I really can't say what's going to happen until the dust settles. So I'm just going to keep trying to run as good as I can here and finish as close to the top as possible and let the points add up, and we'll see what happens.
It's safe to not curse yourself, so I don't blame you at all. Sean Winkler, third place here today at Daytona. Congratulations for coming to chat to us.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks to you guys, Racecraft TV, Racecraft Academy, Racecraft Rallycross, Nitro Circus, and all our team, all my guys, VRS, Hoosingveld, and all my fans in the stands. Thank you for watching and you guys putting on the show. You guys do a great job.
Thanks very much. Sean Winkler, third place here today at Daytona in RX2. Well, that's the fixed setup series out of the way. The RX1's coming up very, very shortly. We're going to take a quick break here on Racecraft TV. When we return, the RX1's will be taking to Daytona.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Daytona, where RX1 drivers are themselves. Another moment of madness here, as we're about to see. Jacob Rafos has taken 2 wins out of 2 at Phoenix and Knockhill. He has the championship lead ahead of Josh Fox, who really challenged him, especially at Phoenix, and picked up some good points last week as well. He is right up there with Garrett Maines in the 3rd place, Alexander Ebredy, and also Joshua Edmondson in the, I don't know why I did full name there, Josh Edmondson in the top 5 of points here for the RX1s. As I mentioned earlier, still very, very early days in the RX1s right now. We are getting ready for the first, for qualifying and for the first of the heats. 3 heats as always, and then the last chance qualifiers, and then we'll be getting into the feature. Usual format here this evening for them, but Dane, it has been the Jacob Rafos story once again so far this season.
It has, but he's yet to get a pole. So that's something that we'll wait for a few seconds to see if he got today. We haven't seen a pole from him. Josh Fox pipping him on both occasions. He has got a pole position this week, though. Starts on the front row in first position for heat number 1 alongside rival Garrett Maines. This should be a good one.
Certainly should. We've got big names in this first heat, as you can see, with the 8 cycling through. With Garrett Maines and Jacob Rafos on the front row together. It's especially, important for all of them here to get off to a good start. You see Maines through the middle with the American flag on the roof and the blue Subaru. And slightly darker covered Subaru for Jacob Rafos. Green lights will be on for Heat 1 in RX1 at Daytona for the Racecraft Rallycross Championship. And it's, guess who? Jacob Rafos down the inside at the hairpin to take the lead through turn 9 to begin the first lap. And it's Garrett Maines who gets into second. A nice stop through the first chicane, but we get to the jump and it will start to kick off a little bit, slightly cleaner. Rafos has taken the lead though, a pole position finally for him, and now the lead as well with Garrett Maines chasing him.
Yeah, Maines back in the Subaru. Obviously, definitely prefers to drive the Fiesta or the VW, but chosen the Subaru. Obviously feels like this car suits this circuit a little bit better. Not the car usage driving, so not expecting the quickest performance in his capability. Obviously one of the fastest guys out there, and whoa, what has gone on there? Got inside the bumper of Rafos, then got spit out again. Very odd netco nonsense going on there, I think it's safe to assume.
Very odd, very, very odd. And Garrett Maines all of a sudden is going to have to go through the last chance qualifiers, which is going to be a real problem for him. That was, well, once again, I've never seen that in any form on iRacing. Anyway, that was just all very weird, and I guess Jacob Rafos is going to feel lucky that he didn't get caught up in any contact there, really.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, up the inside, hang on, no, just inside, like inside the mirror bumper of Rafos, and then just out of nowhere, they were driving fine, got spat out the back. That's going to help Maines out a little bit. There's a car going off, I believe that's Sawyer that's gone off in the 88 machine, but definitely not ideal. However, one person who's going to be very happy is Pakler, who's got Clog up the inside on the right-hand side. This makes it very difficult. This is for the transfer spot, of course, into the feature. Clog looking for that second spot, and obviously Palacio as well in P4, not one to count out of things here either. So Clog, no one's taken to the Joker just yet. Are we going to see Clog go there now? No, just looks a little bit to the inside into turn number 9. But this battle, I think, will continue for the rest of this race, I feel.
Well, unless one of them takes a Joker, I suppose, before the last lap, but doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Big airtime for Clog over the jump there, and a nice line at 6 as well, 5 or 6, and through they come towards the hairpin again. Pakler very much under pressure here and doesn't seem to be quite quickest of this group, but at the moment he has track position and he's able to stay in front. Now we go towards the Joker again and see who takes it. Is Clog going to get in that clean air?
I'm going to go with, yes, some clean air, but not in the way you would have liked, as Palacio just about avoids the back of that Subaru. But now Pakler has some breathing space on this final lap, just has to take it home, as does Jacob Rafos. But I mean, when have we ever seen Rafos wreck himself out of a race? I don't think we've ever seen that happen. He's like the most consistent person in Rallycross history. The young man on top of things for the last couple of years, I think it's safe to say, since the World Championship ended. and possibly not very happy there. A little bit of an exclamation there as through the final corner he goes through the Joker to finish this race, but I'm not sure what happened there on the face cam. Are we going to see Pakula take the win?
Well, let's see. I guess he didn't win by enough seconds. It would be the only guess I've got. We'll wait and see what the race results show to us. Oh dear, who's in the wall there? That was Palacio, was it? Who's in the wall? Yeah, it is. And we'll drop down to 8th place. We'll get our full results here, and we'll have to do some unpicking here. Did Rafos take that heat victory or not? Because if he did, he's already got 14 points to his name before he's even taken part in the feature so far today. Let's see. He is indeed Jacob Rafos into the final. With Juho Pakala also there. Josh Clogg will have to go through the last chance qualifiers, but he'll be up front for them. Anton Jonsson will be in 4th, or up there at least, in the last chance qualifiers based on those race results. Josh Fox on the front for Heat 2. Another championship contender with Adam Alderton and Joni Palanova in the front row. Santeri Heiskanen will be in the 4th, ahead of Christian Lindo. Then Budi Kryer in the 6th place. All Subarus, on the first 2 rows. Then Russell Peterson and Connor Barry on the back row. We're underway for Heat 2 already, and it's a very good start from the pole sitter Josh Fox. He'll get a little bit of contact in the rear, but he will take the lead through the first turn at the hairpin, onto the first lap proper, over the jump. Josh Fox in control, very much in the same way that his championship rival Jacob Rafos did in Heat 1.
Adam needs to sort his internet out in P2. That is one thing for sure. Does he have a slowdown penalty? That is next question. Had a little bit of a moment over the jump and took one of the sausage curves, but I think managed to get away with that one, I think. So first lap all but complete. Is anybody going to the Joker on this first time by? That's the question. Nobody from the front 4, nobody from the front 5. In fact, looks like nobody taking to the Joker on this first lap.
I think everybody left it to the last lap in Heat 1 as well, which just removed some tactical intrigue from it, unfortunately. I hope that we do see something a little bit in this heat, but you never know. I don't think it will matter for Josh Fox, who's got the measure of the field right now. Alderton's certainly not, though, and Santeri Heiskanen is pretty close to him here. Bit of handbrake through the hairpin. Palanova gets very close to the rear of the car in front through there, not able to get through the S's section they go. Is anybody going to go for the Joker here? No. So the second race in a row, people very reluctant to use it early on.
Well, yeah, obviously you do lose a little bit of time by taking it earlier on in the race, but when you're following someone, not always such a bad thing. The last thing you want to do is follow someone, go to the Joker to try and avoid them, and then get stuck behind someone else. It's just not what you want to be doing. And there's not a lot of free track available. I think Heiskanen might try and do it in a couple of laps once the gap to Fox is increased large enough. Also, if nothing else, to get Palanova off the back of him as well.
Well, this is the 3-car battle that will decide the last transfer spot by the looks of things in Heat 2. Still, the 3 of them stay out there. I'm surprised. If I was Palanova, I'd be in the Joker. Like, what do I know? We'll see if it works out for him. A little bit of offline from Santeri Heisk. Over the jump they go. He's recovered it well, and he's actually got a nice line now through the first of the dirt sections. Very close. There was Palanova. Alderton with a little bit more of a gap now, and of course that second spot is what you need on the penultimate lap right now, about to go to the final one. Are we going to really see these 3 just follow each other all race? That would be bizarre.
I think we might see a Joker right now, because that way you don't have to overtake somebody when they come out of it. There we go. Palanova goes through. This is the big thing now. Could hold up Alderton and try and help with, I believe, the teammate get back by as well. So as we see them side by side making contact, and Palanova's into the wall. Alderton spins. And what did I say?
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe that wasn't exactly the plan, but it's worked out pretty well. Heiskanen will go through now, surely. Palanova with the earlier Joker has just interrupted Alderton there, and through they go. Josh Fox under no particular pressure at all. The checkered flag will wait for him. He'll be on the front row with, oh dear, that was close. Jacob Rafos, they'll be on the front row together with Santeri Heiskanen in the second row just behind them for the feature. and it's going to be battling for last chance qualifier positions with Palaneva still finishing third after that dramatic and possibly controversial incident just towards the jump at the first chicane there. It's Josh Fox who takes it ahead of Santeri Haskinen. Buddy Cry did make it to third ahead of Palaneva. Then it was Christian Lindo, Russell Peterson, Adam Alderton and Connor Barry never made it to the line. Grid 4 Heat 3 coming your way once again as well. As we get the third and final heat underway, it's Jarno Leskinen on the front row with Alexander Ebdi and also Josh Edmondson. Furkan Durakoglu will be in the fourth position with Toby Ward and Benjamin Foster on his row. And then on the back row will be Steve Ange and Alexander Petit on the back row together. There you can see them. Another dramatic race. And another one coming up here. More drama going up towards the jump.
Yeah, one of the youngest winners in iRacing history in terms of the World Championship, Leskinen, right there, just coming out of nowhere, joining Williams and having a ball of a time out there. A couple drivers having some internet problems as we ready for the start.
Heat 3 getting underway at Daytona for the RX1 category. It's Leskinen on the inside, pole sitter, but not a good start at all. Through the middle and through the outside. Aberdeen's got a good one. It's bumper cars on the way in, and one of them goes right to the outside. All of a sudden, we've got Leskinen back at the front, and Alexander Ebdi, I think that is, has got out through the back, and we'll have a lot of work to do from here. It was all bumping in towards the first hairpin. Excuse me, it's Abdi who's made his way through. It was Josh Edmond who went wide into the back.
Yep, it's just a big check-up at the front, which caused the middle lane just to get into the back of them, and that sent Leskinen into Abedi and then into Edmondson, who unfortunately has got filed all the way down to the back. The man who pays my bills, unfortunately, not going to be making it through this heat race unless things go dreadfully wrong for a lot of drivers up here in the front. Has already made it past Petit though, so I feel like Petit had a little bit of an issue there as well on the 369 car. But Leskinen out in front, having a very good time of things. Very unfortunate at the beginning. Got a really terrible getaway, didn't he?
Yeah, certainly did. Was a bit weird, and he'll need to get that sorted out for the feature coming up in a few moments' time. But goodness me, he's got a lead now. But we're on board with Furkan Durakoglu in the Fiesta. Or we were. He's having a couple of internet connection problems, which is not helping us right now. Got just the 66 of Ward in the background. Made his way through the chaos on the opening lap well. And Abedi has done the same, but he's under a lot of pressure here for second place. They fly over the jump. And as we get towards the final two laps, the final opportunities to actually make a Joker lap here in this race, we start to wonder when they're going to take it and just how long Durakoglu really wants to follow Abedi for.
Yeah, the Joker strategy, I forgot to tell you this before we went live. For the pro guys, it's boring. There isn't really much Joker strategy. The last thing anybody wants to do is have to take the outside line through turn one because somebody has out-jokered you. And it is the most difficult thing to do. Such a fast entry and such a tight line. If you have to go offline at that turn, it is awful. And so unfortunately, we do tend to get these very, not procession-like races, because often we get some good racing, but if there's an incident that splits up the field, you're not seeing Jokers. It's just not beneficial to anybody to be taking that Joker, which is very unfortunate. Not like not kill, but we saw drivers taking the Joker left, right, and center because that circuit just gives us the best racing. And Daytona, I feel like as well, because everybody knows Daytona, it just kind of adds to that a little bit. But yeah, Leskinen on his way to doing a very good job. Probably one of the best drivers we've seen all day from anybody, RX1 or RX2, just dominant.
Yeah, very dominant. And if I put my new opinion forward, by the way, I know nothing about Rallycross, but I'll give it a go anyway. I just don't get the point of following the person in front of you all race, but it feels like a negative attitude to me, but what do I know? Nothing is the answer to that. Leskinen, though, is going to take this one. I do know that, but he's controlled this one. And will take his Joker on the final lap and take the checkered flag as well. It's going to be Alexander Ebedi who will be joining him. Durakoglu will be third and will be on the front row for the last check. Oh, will he? Well, that was close with Toby Ward. We'll get that one up on the results, but they'll both be in the last chance qualifiers coming up very, very soon indeed. Indeed, the first one coming up right after this. But once again, it's Leskinen who has taken this one ahead of Alexander Abadi. Then Durakoglu did just about make it. Toby Ward half a second back. Benjamin Forster will have to go through LCQs. So will Edmondson and Petit. Coming up right now, the first of the last chance qualifiers. Still another 5-lap race, free advance. Josh Clogg, Furkan Durakoglu and Yoni Panilova will be in the first row. Daniel Lace, Benjamin Forster and Russell Peterson on the second of the free rows. Then it will be Garrett Mains a long way back there, Steve Ange and Connor Barry. That's a danger for Garrett Mains there, for a championship contender to be quite so far back.
I'm going to go and do something I don't think I've ever done on a Racecraft Rallycross broadcast and call out Quentin Delolmo, who joined the Discord server and brought all of our hopes up that he might be competing tonight. Nowhere to be seen. Very disappointed, Quentin. We want to see you on the grid.
Lights will be coming on here for last chance qualifier number 1. Josh Clogg with the inside line. Durakoglu, not much time to turn around for him through the middle. And he's going to get the squeeze in towards the first hairpin. He's going to just brake a slight bit earlier so to not get straight into the side of everybody there. But through the inside line, it's Josh Clogg who's going to take the first position, and the front three will stay in the positions that they were ordered in through the jump here at Daytona. Though a little bit wide there from Clogg. Durakoglu will be close behind. It's a clean start. We've got a lot of drivers in contention here for these free.
Watch out for Garrett Mains, because that is a man on a mission, has the number 1 in this car for a reason. Very quick driver, already up to P5. It just happened, an overtake on the 23 in front as well. And now up into P4 as everybody passes Barry, who has unfortunately not taken to the start in this race, I believe. So Mains through the first couple of corners now. Was that a bit of contact with the barrier that I just heard? Did I hear that right? Was it something else I heard?
It.
Yeah, that was interesting. Might see a bit of damage to the front. Right is a bit wide. Goes Palaneva. Main's going to take no more invitation than that to try and have a look up the inside, around the outside, to the left, and to the very tight right-hander hairpin. A little bit of contact, but it's to be expected. Oh, that's a lot of contact.
Palanova goes nearly around. He saved it. That was Benjamin Forster who got into the back of him there. But what a dive that was from Garrett Mains. He knows that the top 3 advance here from the last chance qualifiers. And he knows also that he's not in a great position anyway as things stand. But he might as well try and get through to the feature any way that he can. And it was a big dive in towards the final hairpin on the circuit here today. What a dive it was as well. He's made it work. There was just about a car width for him there, and he absolutely made sure he took it. He is third now in the race, and that was quite a dive as well. And Durakoglu, who's going through on Josh Clogg. Maybe this race isn't quite over yet as the Fiesta now leads.
This is the point where we might see some joker strategies coming into things. You can see a different line being taken by Clogg, a much tighter entry into this right-hander, and then focusing on a nice quick exit there as well. As through the right and then the left, they go up and over the jump. Oh my goodness, the car body hopping. I've never seen that before. And there again, Garrett Mains. What is that overspeed?
Wow, that was impressive. On the dirt, and he might take 2 in a couple of corners. I thought he was going to do his dive at the final corner again. Wow, he's going to go for it on the inside line. Make sure you don't get squeezed in the wall. He's so close. Durakoglu can't believe what he's seeing. Garrett Mains is right here. He's started down in 8th. He's made contact with Durakoglu. There's no way he saves that. The Fiesta's off into the grass. Now does that send the 16 packing here today? The last chance qualifier is your last chance. It's in the name. And he's going to be 4th right now. He might be all right because Palaneva's in front of him. He's just taken his joker, and now he's getting slowed up by Clogg, who's up in front. But Garrett Mains, what a drive from him. He's going to take the win here, surely. Palaneva's going to throw everything at this. He'll get into the back of Clogg. Now, is Durakoglu close enough to be able to do this? The deltas are just under 2 seconds, as we've reported before. Is there going to be chance here? Clogg's going to get through, so is Garrett Mains. But what about Palaneva and Durakoglu? There goes Mains, there goes Clogg. Now what about It's Durakoglu who's going to do it. Palaneva smashes into everybody over the line, but he hasn't quite done it. That was exciting, but Durakoglu just managed it.
Lucky. Forster had some overspeed, had some advantage into the Joker. But that Joker has one line and one line only, and that is because of the white line on the track. If you go over it, you get a penalty. So really only a single line through the Joker. So that allows Durakoglu to get through. But Garrett Maines, like, just driving straight past everybody as if nothing happened. Like, absolutely insane. Started right from the back as well after the incident in the heat race. Gets his ticket to the final. Here's your grid for the second last chance qualifier.
Rudy Cryer, Anton Jonsson will be on the front row. Couldn't read the rest of the names, but you don't need to see them. We're about to see them all in action down towards the first hairpin of turn 9. It's Cryer on the inside. You can see Jonsson smashed through the middle in the Fiesta with another one of the Fiestas on the outside. Here they go into turn 1. They remain 3 wide. For a brief moment, it was 4. Cryer's lost the lead. They've all lost it here. Jonsson's down to what should be third place. There's contact there. Oh dear, that's going to be a big smash over the jump for them all. There they go. Lots of contact made. Barriers, jumps, walls, all of it. Lots of damaged cars. But we've got a totally new leader. Lindo went through on the inside of everybody. Oh, he's just hit the tyres of the hairpin.
Oh, he's just clipped the wall on the inside as well. That is not what you want to see. For Edmondson goes around again. That may well be all she wrote for Edmondson, down to 9th place. You find it difficult to believe he can make it back up into P3, having terrible luck again. And also Adam Alderton, again, having terrible luck. Who's that dropping down the order? Is that Cryer? It is Cryer. What happened to Cryer?
Slow down, maybe? Just seemed to slow down at the exit of the turn.
Yeah, must be.
9th turn, I guess
Hardware
it must be.
issues, potentially.
Oh no, Petit's got around as well. Alexander Petit through the jump section. Drops right down to the back. Alderton's already taken the Joker there, by the way, up to 6th place. So Lindo and Palacio are looking fairly safe. Make it through the last chance qualifier. But what about the 66 of Ward? Well, Toby Ward not looking too bad either right now. We've got the 88 of Sawyer just behind. That's Brian Sawyer. You can just see in the 4th place. There he is in the Fiesta. Then it's Adam Alderton. Then Jonsson, who was on the front row. And we do have a Joker from Brian Sawyer. Side by side with Alderton. Contact made and Sawyer's in the wall. Oh, sorry, Brody Cryer was that one.
Yeah, lots of contact going on. Just to look out in front, Cryer says first, because I think Cryer is just taking the total pit lane. iRacing gets a little bit confused in what the API sends out to our overlay system. Lindo is out in front, and Lindo, he's got quick rallycross driving in his blood, as you may or may not know, Ewan, being a little bit new to this. Cousin of Jacob Raffos, so it's a very quick family, that one.
I did see in one of the results sheet, he had the Raffos name in there. I didn't think anything of it at the time. Obviously, I did recognise it, but I didn't think anything of it. But yeah, it will be in the genes quite clearly. And we'll obviously see Jacob Raffos in action again in the next race. Last chance qualifier 2, though, and it looks like we're definitely going on to the final lap in a couple of moments' time. Lindo still leads this one from Palacio and Toby Ward. Now, Brian Sawyer just looks a little bit too far away there in the background. It looks like we've got our last 3 to make up the last of those, making it to the feature here this evening.
Yeah, and you may think, well, surely now they just sit back and relax, but no, because these two, they are still battling over something very important. They're battling over which row they start on the grid. Obviously, you've got 3 wide for the first 2 rows, that's each of your heats, and it just works out this way. It's not actually the reason why they're in that position. It just works out this way at Daytona. Top 3, top 1 from each of your heats goes into the top 3 for the first row. Second row is for your second place finishes in the heat, and then you get first in the last chance qualifiers, second in the last chance qualifiers, and third in the last chance qualifiers, in that order for the next 3 rows. So very nice indeed, and Lindo's going to take his spot on the first of those 3 back rows.
Yeah, it does all make sense. Lindo will be at the first of them, alongside the other LCQ winner. Palacio will be in the feature, and so will Ward. Pretty much all of them take their Joker on the final lap, as always. And we see the race results for the final time here in the last chance qualifiers. It's Christian Raffos, Lindo, as you can see, Marcus Palacio and Toby all of whom will be making it through, and a bit of someone for us to support. Dane, because UK and Ireland are up there in the feature, so I'm pleased about it. Brian Sawyer just missing out, Josh Edmondson likewise, Anton Johansson, Alexander Petit all not making it, Adam Alderston and Buddy Cryer didn't make it to the flag. So the big names are there. Josh Fox and Jacob Rafos are going to be on the front row together. Feature. There's going to be a lot of pressure on these 10 laps. Dane's talking with his mic off. I can see. You can see him on the on the screen. There he is. Go ahead. Oh, he's still not realised. Well, I'm not sure what's quite happening today at the minute. Just at the moment, because you could see we couldn't hear what he was talking about. I'm sure it was interesting and insightful, but we wouldn't know because the problem there. It's so incidental as well that we were talking about these issues in an ironic way before the podcast. We were talking about these kind of issues, but there we are. These things happen with broadcasts from time to time. As I mentioned, Jacob Rafos, Josh Fox will be on the front row together. Of course, it has been Rafos in Phoenix and at Knock Hill as well to start off this season, and he's already a third of the way to his 6 wins that he managed to get last season in another championship win season for him. Josh Fox was runner-up. Josh Edmondson, who we've just seen crash in the last chance qualifier, was third last season, and Garrett Mains is in this feature. He was in the top 5 there. Cosmo McKenna also is in the RX1 standings here for this season, but as a reigning RX2 champion, but not on the grid here tonight at Daytona, unfortunately. I believe we have Dane back. It's going to be an important... yeah, we do have you back, which is good to hear. The next 10 laps going to be very important for everybody here, but especially Fox and Rafos on the front row.
Yeah, this is very odd. It's done exactly what it did to you earlier on. And it's not showing me if I'm speaking or not, so if you can hear me, then hello. But yeah, I'm really excited for the final. I've accidentally refreshed the wrong window on my PC, of which I have many, and yeah, that's what's gone on there. Starting grid set by the heat races, of course, for the front 2 rows of 3 drivers. Very confusing here with Rallycross, and then those are your last chance qualifiers as well.
Well, here is the moment, the RX1 feature. Coming up with Jacob Rafos on the inside, Josh Fox through the middle. Those two, 1 and 2 in the championship right now. I'm going to have a big moment down here in towards turn 9, the first hairpin of the race. The revs right time tonight in the RX1 championship at Daytona. We're underway. It's a good from the championship leader. They're all level pretty much going towards turn 1. Or the first turn at the very least. Josh Fox right round the outside, but the first turn just going a little bit too long for him there. As they go through, there's contact. Fox goes around at turn 1. The first chicane has claimed him. It's claimed a few more than just him as well. Chaos here, my word. I think that's Alderton, is it, maybe, who's spinning around wildly, going all at once. Well, that is quite remarkable. That is... big contact and more at the hairpin as well. Dear me, it's been a very, very messy start for quite a lot of these drivers, but Jacob Rafos has gone through it all. Pakula up into second, Leskinen into third, with Garrett Mains into fourth. As things stand, over the jump they go in this fight for second. Garrett Mains, what a drive from him today. He had to go through the last chance qualifier. He started 8th in that, but he managed to go through the field and put himself in the best position he could have done by winning that one. Very nearly got into Leskinen there as well. That was very, very close at the bottom of the course, at the hairpin. But as we complete lap 2, Rafos still leads by some distance, and somebody's scraping along the wall somewhere. Right now, not sure where that was. It certainly wasn't up here inside the top 4. Can Garrett Mains pull off the impossible today? Well, let's find out. Leskinen on the back of Pakula through the dirt section, the first of them here at Daytona. Has to use the grass for a little bit of grip there. We'll keep Mains at bay, but we know he likes this dive at the hairpin. He thought about it. very nearly went for it. But not quite. Not quite at the final hairpin. Through the S's. And into turn 9 they go. Hackler still holding on, and this you get the feeling is going to be very much a fight for second place now. Over the turtles and over the jump they go. Hackler a little bit wide for that apex, but smashes this one and he'll be absolutely fine. The amount of differing lines you can take is quite staggering. Garrett Mains, though, is taking all of the good ones right now. Up towards the final hairpin he goes. Oh, couldn't quite get the car turned in there. Oh, as Hackler goes wide through the hairpin as well. Not sure whether he grabbed the first wall there and went wide or what went on there. But Hackler dropped from second to fourth in a matter of moments. Leskinen all of a sudden through. Garrett Mains up to the top 3 as well. Mains just so good at driving through the field, as we have seen. Hackler struggling over the jump there. Now he drops away from these two. It's a battle between Leskinen and Mains for second place as Rafos looks too far to get back towards here over the next few moments. There he is. And we might be about to see the death stare from the Norwegian as well. Jacob Rafos, there he is, doing his thing. After this one, he could already be halfway to his win tally of 2022 at Season 2. What a time this man is having, and what a driver he is as well. Already now completed a heat lap distance. Still double that to go here in the feature. Garrett Mains hanging on in third, but not being able to catch Leskinen. It looks like the top 3 fairly settled right now. Hackler looks safe in fourth as well. Not sure where Palacio is, but I think Josh Fox is trying to get his way back to the front and trying to outfox the others with an early joker. I apologise. Dane's left me, so I've brought out the puns. But 7 laps in, Fox is trying to at least salvage something from this to try not to lose too many points to Jacob Rafos in this one. Not quite able to get up there. There's Rafos. You just see in the background. And there, on board, we go with Josh Fox, who's got quite some damage after all of the racing in the feature so far. Palacio just up in front in the 5th position, but still has a joker to take. And so Josh Fox will struggle to finish ahead of him in the current situation. Up over the jump they go. And they'll keep on fighting. Garrett Mains has done all he can in terms of working his way through the field on pace, but I think he's going to need something else now to get through, unless Fox is now through on Palacio. I think that may have happened down into the final hairpin, where we've seen a number of moves made so far. And just see how wrecked the front of Josh Fox's car is. He is struggling, but might be able to salvage a top 5 if he can get away from Palacio just enough. 2 to go now. And once again, as Dane alluded to earlier on, with the pros, it looks like we are going to see those jokers taken at the very end. I'm not going to argue against the pros. I'll keep my noob opinions to myself over the next few laps, because as you might be able to tell, I don't watch as much Rallycross as I should. Been very much enjoying the first 3 rounds of this season, and so has this man. The Racecraft Rallycross Championship is going Jacob Rafos' way right now. 3 wins out of 3 is not a bad way to start 2023. Winner at Phoenix, winner at Knock Hill, and about to be winner on the high banks of Daytona as well. Rafos out of the final corner, on final hairpin at least. He's got a few more S's and then the joker to go as well. He brakes early, just make absolutely sure that I'm not going to overshoot this one and throw it away. Rafos wins in the Racecraft Rallycross Championship for RX1. He takes the feature and an even bigger championship lead now ahead of the likes of Josh Fox. Not sure if he's even going to finish ahead of Palacio here. What's going wide there is Ward in the Fiesta. Heiskanen is going to get closer, although he's already taken his crew as well. Turacoglu going to round out the top 10. But that's it for the RX1s here at Daytona in the Racecraft Rallycross Championship. And it's Jacob Rafos again by over 7 seconds ahead of Jarno Leskinen. Garrett Mains third, ahead of Yuko Pakala. Then it's Josh Fox, who did manage to hold on to a top 5 ahead of Marcus Palacio. Josh Clogg was 7th ahead of Toby Ward. Then it was Santeri Heiskanen, Furkan Turacoglu to round out your top 10. And then further down, missing out on a top 10, but all making it to the flag here, apart from one, Christian Lindo, and then Alexander Abadi did not quite make it to the flag. Finished a few laps down here this afternoon. RX1 complete here in the Racecraft Rallycross Championship. And another good round for Jacob Rafos, who now joins us. Welcome to the booth. Good to have you here. Third win in a row. Just how different, though, was this one here at Daytona compared to not only the circuits at Phoenix and also at Knockhill, but also the racing? How is it different this week compared to the last two?
It definitely was a good race. I got a good lead in into turn 1 and all that, and we managed to pull away pretty big time and just raced our own race and had pretty good laps and fast laps in. So yeah, it was a pretty good race, I would say.
Certainly was. And looking ahead as well, you'll obviously have a bigger championship now, and you got 6 wins last season. How likely trying to go a little bit better on this season and getting more than 6 wins?
Yeah, hopefully I can get a more win streak, but it's hard for sure. With me and Josh Fox were like really close in the qualifying, and yeah, they're really good drivers, and Jarno and Garrett, all those guys. But yeah, hoping to win more races and stuff. That's the main target, and win the championship for sure.
Absolutely. We wish you the best of luck with that, of course. Congratulations on the win here at Daytona. Thanks for coming to have a chat with us.
Thanks, and I'd like to thank Sim Magic, Sim Racing, IS, Next Level Racing, and for Racecraft putting up this event for sure.
Thank you very much. Jacob Rafos, victorious here at Daytona here this afternoon. Now, my driver of the day has to go to Garrett Mains. What an incredible performance. You've had quite an eventful day, I've got to say, here today. Knocked out in the heats, through in the last chance qualifiers from basically nowhere on the grid, ended up winning that one. And you come through to third in the feature as well. I mean, how would you assess your day overall? Or a frustration?
Yeah, there was definitely some frustration, a lot of just bad decisions on my part as well. It definitely didn't get off to the right foot. I felt like what started this whole deal was just kind of sad. It shouldn't have been a wreck, and it was. It was a little bit of a connection issue between me and Jacob. I thought I had the line, and then he glitched through my car, and it just killed me. So, you know, to be able to come back, I feel like I made a lot of mistakes today that shouldn't have happened, but you know, to be in position there at the end, I was so close. If I just offset like a foot to the left on Jarno there in the last corner, I had a shot. But I got too far past center on the bumper, and it started turning him instead of pushing him. I thought I'd be able to move him out of the groove, but because it got him sideways, it helped him turn, and I couldn't quite get myself in there. But you know, the fact that we came away with the podium after how this went, I really didn't have any time in the Subaru. I thought the Ford might be good today, and then I ran some laps in the Subi, and I found out I was very wrong. It was a whole just worlds better in drivability. So I had to come back to the car I don't really care for, but I got a good result out of it, so I'll take it. I know some of that unfolded in my favor, but the other half didn't, so I'll take it.
Yeah, you've got to take these things. Just a point on that, because you had such a difficult start to the day. There's not a long turnaround in these races, as we all know. So how do you keep yourself kind of, you're in the last chance qualifier, but you're starting back. How do you keep yourself positive that you are going to end up in the top 3 and you are going to be?
I felt confident in the C main that I had the pace. definitely was a few moments I was like afraid that I might not make it out of the situation I was in, but I was able to get where I needed to be, and then in the feature, the doors just kind of opened. Turn one got a little hairy. They left me a lane, and then they decided they didn't want me in it, so I was like all over the curbs about flipping over, but we were able to miss the first wreck, and kind of just backed into a podium almost right off the get-go. We were fighting for it on the first lap. And I felt like our pace was there. Once I settled in, I had bent steering for that race, but once I settled in behind them, those last like 3 laps, we were on rails, just didn't have time.
It was a great race. I thoroughly enjoyed seeing you come through. Maybe we're frustrated at times. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So thanks very much for coming to chat to us, and congratulations on 3rd place here.
I appreciate it, and I got to give a huge shout out to MCU Body and Linux for all their support. And hopefully, here soon, we'll be, a step or 2 higher on the podium.
Let's hope so. That remains 3rd place here today at Daytona. Just sandwiched in the middle of them was Leskinen, who now joins us in the booth. Good to have you here. It's great to talk to you again. 2nd place here today for you, Jarno. I mean, how was that day? You couldn't quite catch Rafos, but then again, nobody could, and you were able to hold on from Maine. So are you pleased with the 2nd place here tonight?
Yeah, I'm very pleased. Like, had many hours for practice for this week, but yeah.
2nd place here I mean, this might sound like a silly question or maybe one that you don't have the answer to, but what can you do about Jacob Rafos when he is when he's driving? Just what can you do about him as a competitor?
Yeah, we have a lot to do catching him, but I mean, Josh was only point something behind him at the quali, and yeah, we have a long way there. Just trying to get better.
Absolutely, it's difficult to catch him. I understand it. Jarno, congratulations on 2nd place here tonight, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.
Yeah, same.
Thanks very much, Jarno Leskinen. 2nd place here today at Daytona. This is where we will be heading Atlanta and then Iowa. But here is the shots of Atlanta, 5th of March at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you join us for the next round. Racecraft Rallycross Championship here in 2023. Thanks very much for everybody who's been putting up with me, partly. Arjuna Kankipati will be back next week, and so will Dame Baird to take you through the next few rounds of this championship. I've been Ewan O'Leary, though, alongside Dame Baird. Barrow has been behind the cameras, and for now, from all of us here at the Rallycross Championship in 2023, we'll see you at Atlanta. It's goodbye for now.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.